starting from the president himself, his movement and his friendship with Ibrahim Traore, Sam Jatta George in the communication ministry. You can find out that trying to bring, monetization to TikTok in Ghana, try to bring PayPal in Ghana, data prices have been either quantity has been increased and it is serving the people, and they are very outspoken moving to the foreign affairs. Whatever it is that Okudzeto Ablakwa was doing prior to coming to power or prior to coming to office as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he's continuously doing that and making a lot of revelation. That is telling you that there's a certain level of boldness in the current NDC administration. Welcome to the program. My name is Ishmael Mubarak and this is MI4 Studios. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok and Facebook as well. Let's get interactive in the comment section. In this episode, the Foreign Minister of Ghana, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, has rejected and replied a US Senate, word for word, boot for boot. This is the detail. Ghana's Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has delivered a blistering response to the US Senate Jim Risch, who criticized Ghana over unpaid debt to America and American companies as well as the American taxpayer. In a post in somewhere July 4th, that implied that Okudzeto should remain in Accra rather than traveling to Washington, accusing Ghana of prioritizing Chinese debt while relying on US support. But Okudzeto Ablakwa did not hold back. In a fiery statement on social media, he called Jim's comment, and I quote, hypocritical and offensive, questioning why the US had never shown the same enthusiasm for paying repatriation of slavery. Oh my goodness. This is serious. We all know that Okudzeto Ablakwa is a very outspoken person, but we never knew that he is not scared of anything. And that is the kind of energy that, is quite required on the African continent. Because, just talking is not a crime. Just exercising your freedom of speech, your right to speak, is not a crime. And so therefore, yes, we do have a very good relationship with the United States of America. And everybody is being policed by the United States. And it's true, we do owe United States of America. Who doesn't own the United States of America? Or no, who doesn't get some form of aid from the United States of America? But then, speaking up to the United States of America is something that many people have made it a sacred no doing or don't go there, some kind of a thing. And Okudzeto Ablakwa, yes, is standing up to them boot for boot. When the issue of the Ghana embassy in US came up, where some monies were taken and all of that, he got some backlash from there. And Okudzeto has been in a lot of investigations while in opposition up to now, and is still trying to thrive and investigate to ensure that in terms of quality in delivery of service wherever, whether it's about loan, aid, whichever thing that we're looking for, Ghana gets the best out there. And by this particular message, it has created this particular diplomatic standoff, and it is widely praised by Ghanaians and some part of Africa, because it's been a long time coming where, when anybody at all in the US Parliament, anybody at all from the United States, anybody at all from any of the leadership roles, state organizations of the United States speaks, it is expected that the African leader, even if it's a president or a vice, is supposed to second and is supposed to, be so welcoming, and must be mindful of the kind of words he's going to use and how you are even going to reply. Is supposed to be, you're supposed to behave like a slave. You're supposed to behave like you don't think. You're supposed to behave that you don't have brains or you don't breathe air. You're supposed to behave like a non-human, because a proper human being has spoken to you, And that kind of fear, that kind of trajectory, that, that kind of way of living life, way of, is gradually eroding, is gradually, being set apart. In I think 2 years ago, I had this topic discussed on one of the television stations, where the world was becoming more African, that you find a celebration in honor of Ibrahim Traore, and it is worldwide, and you see theming thousands of people coming out in their numbers in different regions and in different countries and in different continents. That should tell you that the world has given the population of African, like, we have become so many in different parts of the world, that the world itself has been taken over by Africans, because we still stick by traditions of giving birth, and so we have the numbers. We still stick by our blackness because we know what history has done and all of that. But the timidity has always been there, because most of our people might not do the right thing when they go to certain places, and might not go there through certain better or approved means, and so therefore we are still very timid, and we still are very timid in terms of diplomacy as to what to do, because we do not know tomorrow there's going to be removal, by force removal of your leadership, because somebody brought in some aid and all of that. So that level of timidity has been there. But this particular Mahama administration, starting from the president himself, his movement and his friendship with Ibrahim Traore, starting from Sam Jatta George in the communication ministry, you can find out that trying to bring, monetization to TikTok in Ghana, try to bring PayPal in Ghana, data prices have been either quantity has been increased, and it is serving the people, and they are very outspoken moving to the foreign affairs. Whatever it is that Okudzeto Ablakwa was doing prior to coming to power, or prior to coming to office as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he's continuously doing that and making a lot of revelation. That is telling you that there's a certain level of boldness in the current NDC administration, or the current NDC-led administration. You can also just suppose that whatever that is happening under the gold board, Sami Jamfi, the arrest of certain Chinese people with their gold, their money, and so many ammunitions and all of that put together, they are boldly working, and they are standing up to the international standards, and where they are supposed to speak, they will speak, because when it comes to gold, it deals with everybody in the world, because everybody needs the gold, and so therefore you need to be tough and you need to be strong to be able to put your policies up and stand by your policies. And if you are not bold and you are still timid, or you are still living in that particular dispensation, it will get to that point where they say and you cannot say, they write and you must just do, they shout and you must not, they ask and you do it, they request and you provide. But then, if you are supposed to respond democratically or diplomatically, then you have to do that. I mean, it is not a one word, it's not around by one person. So this is something that has been praised all over Africa, and most of the African leaders have already started that, ignoring invitations and ignoring programs and doing what they feel like they want to do, with or without the support of the greatest nation, so to speak, or the greatest economy, so to speak, on earth, the United States of America. People still do whatever they want to do, and without the help and support, people are still doing whatever they want to do. Gradually, this particular kind of feeling or wave is burning through the African continent, and it has happened. And now, this particular, person, Okudzeto Ablakwa, has also made himself proud to this regard. Because, I mean, if you know what to say and what you're saying is right, then why can't you say it? Because you are scared, because you're timid. Are we fighting? Is there a war? Is there any path crossroads? Are we any form of a threat to the United States of America? Are we in any form of war zone with them? Are we supporting any war affiliate that would have to have them? Do we have nuclear weapons that they would want to denuke us? I mean, so why can't we just talk if it is just about talking sake? And what Okudzeto Ablakwa replied with is arbitration for the slavery that has happened. Yes, it is true that slavery has happened a long time ago, and yes, we've forgotten sometimes. We just want to go about our normal duties, because we cannot just live by within the quandrum of slavery and whatever it is that is supposed to come out of slavery. But then there have been an agreement by law that these payments would have to come to these countries where, you know, where slavery was taken, or slaves were taken away to serve in other countries, and that includes the United States of America, and also returning certain artifacts to where they belong to. That these artifacts that are sold in billions and millions of dollars, and they are making so much money in the museums of the West and America. Definitely these particular things are what he is talking about. And so therefore, if he comes to borrow something from you and he's not, you know, coming forth with it, or he's not defaulting, why are you talking so much? And also, China is one-stop shop for infrastructural loans, because most of these countries have pulled out from infrastructural loans, and China has stepped in there. And even if you talk about the Chinese loans that are being offered to the African continent, it makes up to about 6 to 10% of the total Chinese, you know, total loans that Africa assess out there. Africa is assessing about $1.12 trillion every single year, and with this amount of money, China makes in about just 10% of it. And so, I mean, if you're unwilling to give, and if your terms and conditions are bad, because China's terms and conditions are very good, their renegotiation terms are very good, and China has got a very good face when it comes to Africa and the rest of the world put together. Most of the loans that could be had, or, you know, assessed by from the Western countries might be coming from private entities with very, very harsh payment systems and demands that comes along with it, and which the African country is gradually trying to take itself away from there. And so therefore, if China has become popular in terms of issuing that facility for the African countries, you might not be able to blame the country that is still in service of debt with you, because once the person or the country is its GDP is able to attract debt, are able to attract loans, then you cannot blame the nation for going wherever to go and pick its loan. It's not by force to take loans from the United States of America. My name is Ishmael Mubarak, and this is MI4 Studios.